everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. This is Leland Best of Leland Best Live, and I am broadcasting from my in-home studio over here along the Shiawassee River in Corunna, Michigan, in the U.S. of A. Today, I have a special guest. I have Alan Kiesler, who is located over in Southern California in the U.S., and he is a
Northern
retired...
California.
Oh, you're in Northern California. I apologize. I didn't get a chance to actually locate him on a map before we did this broadcast, but Alan is a retired professor of South Asian Studies. I'm going to head over to his bio just real quick so that you can kind of get an understanding of this gentleman's expertise. He was a substitute teacher in Esparto Unified School District. He's a professor at Institute of All Intelligent Life, because that's what we like to know about, right? He was a founder of Pak Rasta, which we might get to talk about a little bit while we're here on the show. Visiting scholar of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, former professor at Foman Christian College, former adjunct professor of world religions at Graduate Theological Union, and studied his South Asian studies at UC Berkeley. So thanks for coming and welcome to the show today, Alan.
Nice to be with you.
Now, this whole event that we're doing here today is kind of an extension of what Rehan Aliwala over in Pakistan is performing as a social experiment, per se, which is the connection of 1 million viewers to...
You said I could make this live, so how do I do that?
Oh, yeah, we're going to take care of that right away. So for those of you who are new to live broadcasting, and which Alan is, this is his first live interview as a guest on Facebook. So we're going to take him over to a page, and I'm going to share it behind us. He can head over to his Leland Best Live page, or my Leland Best Live page, and what he's going to find on there is a live broadcast that shows up. You know, you may need to refresh the page, Alan, so that it does show you that actual location. And I'll do the same over here. And I'm going to put that behind us for a moment so the rest of the folks out there can see this. So I'm going to merge this over. You're not going to be able to see Alan for a moment, but they can hear you, Alan. So if you do want to say something.
Okay, I'm trying to
roll down here.
Go to
and
your page here.
Yep, right down here toward the bottom. You're going to see that you're live now.
Okay.
So that's what it's going to look like. Head over and share this page to wherever you'd like to share it to. And in my case,
okay, I'm on your page, but I'm looking for the share button.
Keep going down to the bottom where the live video right here looks. It's the share button's going to be right here under the video. So you have to find what looks just like this.
Okay, there we are. Oh, Anti-Hassan Lila. No, this is something else.
No, that's just
above
above
live here. Where's the current?
Go down a little.
Live one?
Go down a little bit more. That was actually a show I did yesterday. So if you just keep scrolling down, you'll find it. It'll be right here.
Okay,
you'll look for
it's live now. Here we are.
There you go.
Okay, share. All right.
Yep. Click that. Share that out to wherever you'd like.
Now.
I'm going to share it into a couple of groups that I run.
This has been shared to your timeline. It said, okay.
Yeah, and you should be good. I'm going to I like to share these out a couple of times because I have several locations that I can share these shows to. And this really helps to drum up some interaction on this particular broadcast. So that's why we do this, so that we can get people out here to participate in the show with us. And I'm even going to go ahead and throw this out on my own profile. So I've already shared it out to 3 locations. Anyone else that's on the broadcast, please feel free to share this out. I know when I do broadcasts on Leland Best Live, they are notified, so they know this is taking place, and we appreciate anything you can do to help share the message that we're about to deliver, which is really a meet and greet. And I'm going to have to close that out because I don't want you guys to see that. I'm going to bring Alan back onto the stage here with me. And again, welcome to the show, Alan. It's been a pleasure getting to meet you. We've only spent very little time together. Can you give us a little bit of your history? You're here in the States now, but you've spent a lot of your life in Pakistan. So give us a little run through of who Alan Kiesler is, if you don't mind.
Well, I was born actually just before the formation of Pakistan in 1947. My parents were working in the southern Punjabi city of Khanewal, small city. And during the summer, just like the British government in Delhi used to transfer to Shimla in the mountains during the summer because it was too hot there. Mm-hmm. So my parents would shift from the Punjab up to the mountains during the summer. And so I was born during the summer. In Mussoorie, which is now in India. But when Pakistan was formed and a border showed up between eastern and western Punjab, we were on the eastern side in India. Oh. And our family actually went on the very last train, the real last train that went from India to Pakistan in 1947. So then from September 47 until July of 1965, I was a legal resident of Pakistan, as my parents were working in different cities, including Lahore and Rawalpindi.
Hmm.
And that was my childhood, was in Pakistan. So I speak Urdu like a Pakistani.
Great.
अब सबसे मैं बात भी कर सकता हूँ थोड़ा सा उर्दू में, ताकि अगर आप पाकिस्तानी हैं आप समझ
Very
कि ये
well.
हकीकत है.
And just let me
So
pause you for one moment while since you brought that up, I actually had a person from Pakistan contact me just this morning before this interview, and I'm hoping that they've showed up on this broadcast because I told them I was going to be going live shortly. They were asking me if there was any way I could teach someone who didn't know English, Pakistan language of any kind, or I'm sorry, the other way around, that knew Pakistan languages, that I could teach English. And I'm not an English teacher. I'm not a language teacher. And I said, well, the gentleman I'm about to have on the show is fluent in both. Maybe he has a connection, or maybe he has a school or a process or something. So maybe we can connect you with that other individual after the show and see if we can help them to find a way to learn English. So I didn't want to interrupt that conversation, but I think it's important that the people that are out there want to know that you might be the connection they can make to find out how. So please continue.
all right. So during my childhood, I naturally became interested in Pakistani culture. And so anyway, it's a long story, the details of it, but
Sure.
I did go back to Pakistan for 1 year of college, and I studied at the University of Karachi. I studied Urdu further and Islamiyat, Islamic studies.
Okay.
And during that course, I became familiar with the Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, and fell in love with him, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went back to Pakistan later, I returned to the United States after that year in Karachi. And later in the 1980s, I returned to Pakistan. And since then, I've been going there regularly. And I have met many Sufis, saints,
Yeah.
and I've had many incredible experiences with them. And
So now you're in
basically
this.
what I'm doing now.
I'm sorry. I thought when I caught the pause, I usually try to count twice, 2 seconds in my head before I interrupt someone on a conversation. I thought you were going to pause. I just wanted to kind of redirect you just a moment. So you've spent all this time in Pakistan. You went to school in Pakistan, from what I understand, quite a bit, if I'm correct, because you were living in Pakistan. Now you've been in
Actually,
this.
my parents were working in Pakistan, but
Yeah.
because they were Christian missionaries,
Yeah.
and there was a very good American Christian missionary school in India, the same town where I was born, Mussoorie. So I actually went to school there.
Oh,
So I
okay.
went back and forth every year between India and Pakistan, which was quite an education in itself,
Wow. I guess.
seeing the very different points of view. And in fact, because of that experience, I developed very early in life, while I was still in
Yeah.
certainly middle school, if not even before that, I began wondering, why do these people have such totally opposite views of everything? The newspapers in India and the newspapers
Yeah.
in Pakistan would give quite opposite reports on what was happening. So that became my main topic of interest even. And when I was in high school, I had to write a paper. And the paper that I chose to write was about the relations between India and Pakistan, specifically the Kashmir issue.
Hmm.
So I developed a desire at that time to work, to dedicate my life to really working out resolutions between people of different nations with opposite points of view, different religions. So that's
Sure.
really what my life has been all about. I developed that idea because of going to school in India, although my parents were living and I was spending the vacation of 3 months every year in Pakistan.
That's awesome. And if the folks don't really realize the mission that he just spoke of, which is that of the cultural differences that are obvious over there in the Middle East, that are from what we see here in the States on mainstream media, is not what is reflected in properly at all in most cases. And that was why I believe that Rayhan, his mission is to let people understand the Pakistani people in a much brighter light and not be overshadowed by what is in the daily news, on news media, because those news channels are not reporting the true people of Pakistan. And it's sad to see that that is the truth. And coming on board with Rayhan and his mission to connect all these people together, which he has this little thing going on where he's asking people to take 500 of his friends, make friends with them, and then interview 5 of those people. And in the process, he's giving them motivation and incentive to do so, just so that they can show themselves in live camera, get to meet people in the U.S. and around the world. And my experience has been wonderful. I have never really spent much time communicating with the Pakistani people, but I will tell you from personal experience over the last week, I have had nothing but love and endearing comments, and the communications with those who are all, some are engineering students, some are business people, doctors, lawyers, you name it. They come from all different walks of life. I have been very impressed with the quality of life and the heartfelt quality of life that the Pakistani people have for all people of the world. And it gives me motivation myself. They're excited to be on live. I'm excited to have them here, and I would really like that connection to continue on in the future. So with that in mind, I see you do a lot of video. There's one in particular we'll talk about here in a moment, but I was over at your profile page, and you have nearly hundreds of videos that you produce as yourself, just yourself broadcasting to a recording. What is it those recordings are really all about, and why are you doing video?
Well, there are several purposes in them. Overall, the purpose is very similar to what Rihan is interested in, and that is helping people understand what the truth of Pakistan is, because there's been so much misinformation or disinformation propagated about Pakistan. And in the West, often people have the idea that Pakistan is dangerous, some sort of center of terrorism and everything, which is totally false. Everybody I've spoken to who has actually visited Pakistan, whether they're American or European or from wherever, they get a completely different impression once they go there. They see, as you've also mentioned yourself, they are friendly.
Yes.
In fact, there was an American woman who traveled all over the world. I don't remember her name right now, and visited every single country in the world just in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. And she listed Pakistan as the 5th best country in the world to visit.
Nice. Nice.
And the main reason, she said, was because the people are so hospitable. They're so kind and friendly. So many people have had that experience. There was also a European man named Mike Horn, I believe I remembered his name. Yeah. He had the very same experience. Yep. Maybe you've heard of him.
Yes, I have.
He's become famous for his visit to Pakistan, where he just found the people more hospitable than anyone else he'd ever met in the world. That's been my experience too.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of false misunderstanding. There's a lot of misunderstanding about what Pakistan is like. So that's the main purpose that I have, first of all, is to help people understand that Pakistan is not what the mass media portrays Pakistan as. Yeah. And along with that, perhaps even more important than that, is to help Pakistani people themselves understand that the misinformation that has been spread out by the mass media about Pakistan, which affects them too.
Oh, absolutely.
They need to get free of that.
Yes.
And they need to understand what Pakistan really is all about, because many people in Pakistan, as well as all around the world, have very, very little understanding of the truth behind Pakistan. Actually, although this is not very well known, the country of Pakistan was established by Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He's considered the founding father.
Okay.
But because of the British image portrayed about him as a very stern and secular type of person, people don't realize that he was a deeply spiritual man and had many spiritual experiences, including a vision of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in which the Holy Prophet instructed him, at that time he was living in England, instructed him to return to India and take up the leadership of the freedom struggle for the Muslims in India at that time. And so he was actually inspired by divine guidance to establish Pakistan. So that's a very, very important point for everyone, especially Pakistanis, to understand that Pakistan has a lot of problems, like many countries in the world. There's a lot of corruption, and there's a lot of difficulties that people are undergoing because of the extreme corruption, where most parts of Pakistan, many hours of the day, there's no electricity because of the fact that certain people are siphoning off all the wealth of the country.
That's
people
terrible.
think that Pakistan is a poor country. Actually, Pakistan is a very wealthy country. the natural resources, the human resources, as you've experienced just by talking with Pakistanis. It's incredible. There are very few countries in the world that match Pakistan. Even in population, Pakistan's maybe the fifth or sixth largest country of the world in terms of population. And in terms of development of IT, information technology, Pakistan is definitely in the top 3 or 4 countries of the world. So Pakistan is not a poor country at all.
No.
But because of corruption in the government and in other departments of the national life, there is very, very little wealth trickling down to the common people, and so people are suffering a lot. But Pakistan has a glorious future. That's my conviction. As a result of this, go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't want to finish that. Because of this, I'd like you to finish that statement, because I'm sure you had an expression to make there.
Well, because of the spiritual foundation of Pakistan, I am convinced that Pakistan has a glorious future, and that as the Pakistani people themselves understand what the destiny of their country is, what the purpose and mission of their country is, the word Pakistan itself means Pakon Kastan, land of the pure.
Oh, okay.
So when Pakistani people, sincere, pure-hearted Pakistani people, become aware of this mission of Pakistan, they will come together in love. They will establish a peaceful society. They will become free of the corruption. And on this basis, Pakistan will become an international leader. I have no doubt at all about that. So that's really those are the 2 main purposes of the work that I'm doing now, which is, one, to inform foreigners, that is those outside of Pakistan, that they have serious misconceptions about what Pakistan is like. And the other is to help Pakistanis understand that the country that they're living in is a very special place. They have a very wonderful destiny. And if they understand and take up this definition of Pakistan, you might say, this mission of Pakistan, then they can establish a wonderful society based on truthfulness and on love and on harmony and justice, and establish a country which will become a model for the whole world as how to establish a society that's really progressive rather than, controlled by selfish forces.
Yeah, beautifully said. Because not many people understand that, there are territories in Pakistan that are Indian occupied, and that term occupied territory is floating all over the news right now in ways that are so misunderstood. And we're not going to get into the politics or the religion. I don't prefer to do that on these quick meet and greets, but this is the catalyst that helps develop that conversation, so that people who are unfamiliar with the culture in Pakistan, the religion in Pakistan, the politics of Pakistan, can now reach out to those who are in Pakistan directly. And I apologize for the frog in my throat. That it's not the network news that you're going to get the true answers from, that you need to communicate with the Pakistani people, or you're not going to get the answers you seek. So I really hope that this helps to build those communications with the people that are out there. And as they continue to draw into the live environment, they will be seen as the people they are, and they will also be taken into those that are just as loving on the other side of the world, that want to participate in other cultures. So with that being said, we intend on making this a short interview, and we're already 20 minutes in, so you can see how quickly these conversations can continue. I want to focus myself for a moment onto the people who are here watching in our audience today. I want to thank all of those who are here. I see Jeff Adams from Be Live TV, which is where a lot of the new people coming into live are broadcasting from. If you're not familiar with that site, get a hold of Jeff Adams or Stephen Healy. You will find them to be the top producers over there, and they are the connecting fabric between Daniel Meyer and Zafir Rehan, who are the developers from Israel who put that software together. So that's a place to join in and become part of the conversation. Also, I would love to thank all of those who are here, such as Hassan, Anis, Didar, Anna. We have several of them here, Arslan, who are all sharing this video out to their people. And that's how this message gets delivered. I could broadcast all day on my page, and if people don't come to watch and share it out with the rest of the world, the message just remains stagnant, and we don't want that to happen. So with that said, I'm going to take this over to one other thing. First, I want to ask you, can you let people know who are here today how best to reach you or contact you? What would be the best approach for them to take in that regard?
Probably my Facebook page, which is Alan Kiesler.
All right. So not hard to find if you type Alan Kiesler. Make sure you get the spelling right because I spelled it wrong when I put it on his lower third here this morning. It's Allan, not En. And make sure that you reach out to him at any time, especially if you're Pakistani new to the live stream. You can get a hold of me. I have a group called Worldwide Live, which is dedicated specifically for that purpose for all of the influx of individuals who are new to this. So we're trying to onboard them that way so they can get the best support and service from us here in the U.S. and in Israel so that they understand we are here working with them also. We're not here to silence them in any way. We want their voices heard. So that's the point we're trying to make. And then I have 10 questions, well, at least a few questions I'd like to ask
Just
you.
one more thing, may I
Yeah,
say? The other
please.
way to contact me, and in fact, a better way to find out more about me is my website,
Okay.
which is allintelligentlife.com.
Okay, let's put that in the chat so people can find you. Allintelligentlife.com. That should reach out to your viewers. Let me see if that link works. Yes, it does. Institute of All Intelligent Life. And I'm going to actually
Yes,
put
that's
your... Go ahead. I'm going to put your
That's
link.
not about Pakistan. That's about my other main interest, which is
Yeah.
extraterrestrial life.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's
Very
a lot
cool.
more about that on that website, but that gives more information about myself also on the About Us tab.
That could be interesting. I'm heading over to your Facebook page real quick so that I can actually leave that link right in the chat for all of those who haven't found you, perhaps, maybe. That will be following that last one. So that's Alan's Facebook page. And then I just have a few parting questions before we go. These are very short, to the point. This is actually a format that was used by John Lipton for the Inside the Actor Studio. And I've kind of tweaked a little bit of it just for my own purposes so that I don't use the exact same questions, but they're relatively the same. We'll start with them and we'll just run down the line. Alan, what's your favorite word?
That's a hard one. I guess if I had to choose one word, I would choose love.
Good. That's a good
Although
answer.
I like to link love with justice and truth
Yes.
so that it doesn't, because love means so many things, people can get a misunderstanding, but that's really what I mean. Love
Absolutely.
of humanity, love of God, love of all of creation.
Awesome. What is your least favorite word?
Oh boy.
These are rough.
That's
And let's not use any foreign language words that shouldn't be broadcast live on TV.
What's my least favorite word? I like all words. You know, every word has a positive meaning too. So I can't really think of any word that I would say.
And that's fine.
It'll
I'll
probably
share.
be a curse word of some sort.
I'll share mine
There are
with you.
common four-letter words that I would dislike intensely.
Oh, for
I
sure.
guess. So that's
And I'll tell you what
what I
my
want to say.
I'll tell you what my least favorite four-letter word is. Hate. That's my least favorite word.
Hey, that's the opposite of my favorite word.
right.
So maybe
There we go.
I think that even hate has a function and a positive
It does.
function. in
It does.
So,
But when used in the wrong context, it can be a hurtful word, and
Yes.
it's not something we need to do. All right. Third question. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, and emotionally?
wow. Personal relationships, both with human beings and extraterrestrials and animals and even plants, and especially above all God.
Very well.
So it's
what-
definitely relationships, which means love, really.
What turns you off?
What turns me off? Lying, disinformation,
Perfect.
corruption.
Totally get it. What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of the surf. I love the sound of the wind blowing in the trees. We have palm trees here that make a lot of noise when wind blows from.
Awesome.
That's my favorite sound. But in terms of word, it would have to be names of God from all different traditions. I love and I recite the names of God from all different languages and traditions.
Oh, awesome.
That would have to definitely be my favorite word.
All right. What, and on the opposite of that spectrum, obviously, what sound maybe grinds you the wrong way or that you really don't like to hear?
Uh, Loud machine sounds.
Mhm.
We have a neighbor who has a motorcycle and he drives out in the morning and it makes a horrible noise in the peaceful. I live in a very small town or village with only about 2,000, 2,500 people. So we
Okay.
don't have a lot of loud noises except from vehicles.
Yeah,
So
that can be
those
distracting,
definitely are the thing that irritate me the most.
especially if you're trying to pray, right? That makes it very difficult to have something roar up behind you while you're in the middle of a peaceful meditation. So I can understand that.
Yeah.
Just a couple more and we'll let this go. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? Is there something you've always
Huh.
wanted to do that you never got a chance to do? I know these are tough.
Well, I'd like to be an astronaut, I guess,
There
and
you go.
travel
That's a good one.
to other planets by ordinary means as well as by psychic means.
I like that. That's
I
good.
always like that. In fact, my oldest daughter, when she first time asked me, what do you want me to be when I grow up? I told her, because I was looking into the future,
Mhm.
I was I told her, I think you should become an ambassador to other planets.
Oh,
So I
nice.
guess that's what I would really like to be too.
It's awesome. I like it. And we just had, of course, the opposite of that one would be which profession would you not like to do? What's the least appealing that you could consider?
Again, working in a factory where there are all these horrible noises and, that that would be bad, almost as bad as working in a boring office job where you have to do the same thing over and over again without any inspiration.
Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. And for the last question for today, and then we'll let you go and get back to your glorious day. And this is just a generalized question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear the Almighty say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Well, that's pretty easy because we have a good quote from the Bible about that. Well done, my good and faithful servant.
There you go. Nice job.
That would be a wonderful thing to hear when I.
Well, Alan, it's been a pleasure to have you here on the show today, and I look forward to further communications with you. Obviously, I may reach out to you with the respect that I have people coming to me looking for instruction in English that I can't help them with. Maybe you know other people or connections because you're obviously fluent in both highly well. And I would like that to be something moving forward that these people have access to, even if it just means you pointing them in the right direction. And I'm sure as the live streaming environment and community build up, I'd love to add you to our worldwide live group so that if there does arise a matter of miscommunication due to language barriers, you would be the perfect fit for us to come to if we're having issues with that. Would you like to be a part of that group?
Sure. And I can just say one thing since many years ago, in fact, it was 1982,
Hmm.
I myself taught. I never was a language teacher, but I was able to get a job at the Pak American Cultural Center in Karachi,
Oh,
and I
great.
taught English to Pakistani
Well, there
Urdu
we go.
speaking people. So many countries in Pakistan have, France does, Great Britain does, they have places where they teach their language, certainly
Oh,
English
okay.
for the British and
Yeah.
Americans, or French and German too, if you want to learn European languages. I would suggest that that's a very good place to start because you can often find people who speak the language with the accent of
Hmm.
that country, a proper accent also. So that's a
Great.
good good way to learn a language.
Well, that works for me. Once again, if you want to reach out to find Alan, the links are in the comments below. Just go ahead and find him on Facebook at his Facebook page, or you can head over to his website, which is also linked in there, which is the Institute of All Intelligent Life. So thanks again for coming on to the show, Alan. We're going to let you go, and shalom aleichem.
Wa alaikum shalom.
All right, you have a great day. Take care, everyone. We'll see you in the next live video. Okay, we are done. Thank you, everybody.